actually went in the bedroom and shot myself in the ankle just so I could get to the hospital, just so I could get the medication to help with the withdrawals.
I remember waking up one morning, my daughter had came in and asked me to play with her, and I didn't have any pills, so I couldn't get out of bed. I was throwing up, I was shaking, cold sweats, I mean just sick, physically sick, and that's when I realized that I had a problem.
Got to the point where I got on the phone, Mom, you better bring me that patch right now, else I'm splattering my brains all over this living room. I wouldn't have done it. I don't think I would have. You know, who knows?
I was working in accounting at the time, and my husband had a business painting. You know, my little girl was young. We were becoming successful. We had a great life, and then just let addiction take over. I was in a car wreck when I was 8, and broke my C2 and my C3 in my neck. I always had problems with it. It wasn't until I was about 21 or 22 until I started getting older, being more physical, and started using. I went to the doctor then, and that's the first thing they did was put me on opiates. My husband also was going. It just became too expensive. We were starting to sell or trade everything that we had just to be able to get money to get more opiates, and heroin was cheaper. It was easier to get. That became too expensive, so the next thing on the list was methamphetamines. Kind of spirals. It happens before you know it. It was the worst day of my life. I felt embarrassment, shame, guilt. My whole world had changed, and just realizing what I had done, that was my rock bottom. I can't wait to have her back home full time and be able to just be a family again, because right now it's kind of broken. Because like at home when she's not there, you feel empty. The house feels empty, it's just so quiet. You don't want to be there, it's depressing. It took a while for me to be okay with me being an addict. I worry because it's an everyday struggle. I can't look at the past and I can't look at the future. I have to just be in today.
So I've got to tell you, I'm really, really proud of you. Well, of both of y'all. I mean, you've both done a great job.
Thank you.
I can actually dream again and smile at my future instead of not care about my future. There is one to be had. It's not going to be a jail cell, and it's not going to be death.
I actually missed shooting myself the first time. My kids were playing basketball in the driveway. I've got terrible arthritis, and just every joint in my body is degenerative. Well, I went to a doctor. He said, "You've got fibromyalgia," which I don't have and I didn't have. He prescribed a big fat prescription of hydrocodone 7.5 4 times a day. Michelle, my wife, she got pregnant. We were going to have another baby, and he contracted spinal meningitis, and 6 weeks later we lost him. There was the medication again. I started taking more of it to cover up the pain of losing my son. That became my focus. The medication became my life. It's just awful. Awful going through the withdrawals. The withdrawals are just terrible. Well, my wife didn't want to be married to me anymore. You know, I went deeper into medication. I ended up living in motel rooms. There was a few nights where I didn't have money to pay my motel room, and I was out. I was on the street. I ended up in a pretty dark place. I lost my job. I lost my son, and years later, I lost my wife. I loved my family. I missed them growing up. And so they're still hurting, and we've not, they know I love them with all my heart. It's just, they still have issues of what happened. And I've offered to get them together and talk to them, but I guess they're not ready yet for that, or they're maybe avoiding the pain. It really never leaves you. The voices always still call you back to the darkness. You just have to ignore them and go on. Right now, my life is taking care of my mother. She had a stroke. Do I have a social life? Nope. Don't have a social life. Do I do a lot of things? No. Right now, I'm taking care of her. And I hope one day, if I ever get to the same situation, that my kids will do the same for me.
Played music from 19 till I was about 30. Started driving truck and loved it. Loved it. And then I had an accident. My back gave out on me. Had to have a couple surgeries, started taking the pain meds, and that's all it took. And I mean, I just went full bore, popping pills like crazy. And then they put me on these fentanyl patches. After that, it was like, well, shoot, if it's going to absorb through my skin, I wonder what would happen if I just took the whole patch and chewed it all. Whoo! You know, the way I was raised, that low self-esteem, you know, Daddy never hugged me, Dad never told me he loved me. And when you get into the drugs, you know, you take that little booster, it's like, oh man, I'm somebody. When I got to the point where my wife was locking in a safe, locking my pain meds away from me, I knew that was trouble. Yeah, I came close to losing her. And I love her more than anything in the world. But yet, here I am, taking this drug that's got control over me. And her saying, if you love me so much, why can't you stop? No answer. What was the pivoting moment? I don't know. But I just know that I didn't want to lose my wife, and it was time. It was time. Simple as that.
Yeah, how's your addiction treatment going?
Awesome. Dude,
Okay.
I can't say nothing else about it. I mean,
You've been stable?
stable.
No
Everything's
cravings?
good, no cravings. My wife is my drug. That's why I do what I do. I cook, clean, the whole bit. All she has to do is walk by me and pat me on the head, and I'm like a dog in heaven. I'm just as happy as can be. I like boring. I like it. I had too much of the other stuff before. Now the end.